Jeff's Superscript is brought to you by Black Cat Comics and Collectibles, in my opinion, the best comic shop and clubhouse on the internet. Make sure to follow them at Black Cat Burbank on Instagram and ask them about their Stray Cats Club for special perks. Hi, I'm Jeff, and welcome to another one of my videos where I take a look at all the new comic books coming out on either June 22nd or 23rd, 2021. And I ask myself the question, what one new comic book would I buy this week if I could buy just one book? I want to thank all of you who watch this video week after week. I appreciate you all so much. I would invite you to also watch my final order cutoff video, which I put out earlier in the week. I think there's a lot of great and valuable information. As I say in those videos, I believe that final order cutoff information is power. Reserving your book ahead of final order cutoff, knowing it's going to be there in your pull box on New Comic Book Day, is so liberating. I highly recommend it for all of you. Something I mentioned in my last week's final order cutoff video is that my final order cutoff picks for this week were not very exciting, and I have the same sentiment about my just one book picks for this upcoming week. It's not really a very exciting week for new comic books as far as I am concerned, so I'm going to get through this information as quickly as possible, probably with very little commentary from myself. All right, first, let's take a look back 2 weeks from my pick from 2 weeks ago, which was Far Sector, issue number 12. And the question remains, was it a worthy pick to be my just one book pick of the week? And the answer is, I'm going to say not really. I really liked Far Sector a lot. The entire series I thought was really great. This book was kind of just the finale. It ended with some excitement. I was actually glad to see that a superhero kind of solved a problem with an argument, making a point, rather than punching her way out of the situation. So that was kind of refreshing. But then the rest of the issue was mostly what they call denouement, or falling action. Basically just kind of wrapping up her different relationships and stuff like that, and kind of being like, well, what does the future hold for her and stuff like that. So it wasn't a super amazing book, but I really did like the series a lot. It doesn't take anything away from the enjoyment that I had of the series and the value that I think that the series has. I recommend it for everybody. I'm sure there will be a trade paperback that comes out for it. But in a week that was kind of light and kind of not that interesting, it was fine. It was fine, but I would not necessarily say it was a fantastic pick for my just one book pick of the week. All right, next let's move on to my cover pick for the week. And I don't really have one of those either this week. You know, I do have an honorable mention, which I'll throw up right here. And I had a hard time knowing who this artist was until I realized it's J. Scott Campbell. I don't think I've ever seen J. Scott Campbell do a non-female. But I like this cover. I think it's pretty cool. I don't know if I necessarily be like, hey, this is a really great cover, you should buy this on cover alone, but I do think it's actually a pretty cool character and a pretty cool rendering of that character. Which takes me into the books that I want to feature this week, first starting off with the 5 books that are kind of honorable mentions, then my pick of the week. Sticking with this book that you see right here, we are going to talk about Spawn Universe. Issue number 1. Here, this is from Image Comics. Here's the description. It's here, the official introduction to the long-awaited Spawn's universe. A double-sized issue that begins a storyline so huge that 3 new Spawn-related monthly titles will spill out from it, including a new Spawn title, Gunslinger Spawn Monthly, and a new team book bringing a handful of these characters together in their own book. With this one-shot, the world of Spawn changes forever. New heroes, new villains, and more importantly, new titles coming to a comic shop near you. Join this list of artists as we unveil a historic moment in the mythology of Spawn's universe. All right, I'm not really much of a Spawn fan. I know there are lots of Spawn fans out there. More power to you. I have nothing against Spawn at all. It's just not really, I'm not just really a big fan. I'm really just not a big fan. But I think I might pick up this book just to kind of like take the temperature of what's going on in the Spawn world right now. There may be some spec potential in there as well. So I think that this is a book for all Spawn fans, and possibly let's call them the Spawn curious as well. The next book I want to mention to you is a book called Vinyl, issue number 1 of a 6-issue limited series. This is from Image Comics. Here's the description. Plastic creators Doug Wagner and Daniel Hilliard return with Eisner Award winner Dave Stewart for an unsettling tale of psychopaths, sweet love, and a serial killer named Walter. When Walter's best friend, the FBI agent charged with his capture, is kidnapped by a death cult of all-female sunflower farmers, Walter finds himself deep within an underground labyrinth filled with secrets and monsters. But are there monsters more horrific than his? All right, well, this sounds like a fun, semi-unique, the bad guy has to do something good kind of story. Could be interesting, could be fun. This might be one you consider picking up if you're looking for an indie number 1 title to try out this week. It might be a fun, worthwhile read. The next book I want to mention to you is a book called Good Luck. This is issue number 1 of a 5-issue limited series from Boom Studios. Here's the description. What if luck was quantifiable and something everyone was born with? Everyone except the unfortunates. Teenagers born with absolutely zero luck. Now, with the world mysteriously plunged into chaos and reality itself threatened, they will be our only hope to save the world. Our last hope is those with no chance of success. The only thing anyone can wish them is good luck. A bold, new, original series for fans of Seven Secrets and Runaways from Matthew Ehrman and Stefano Simone about defying fate against impossible odds. All right, well, similar to Vinyl, this might be a book that you pick up. These are both limited series. They're not huge commitments. If either one of these books sounds at all interesting to you, you might consider just picking it up just to check it out. Who knows with these indie books if they may have a future down the line. Like I said, if neither of them sound interesting to you, I'd say pass on either of them. If one of them kind of like, oh, that sounds interesting, maybe you consider picking this up. In a week that's pretty light with books, maybe you consider trying something new, and one of these 2 last options that I mentioned might be ones to do that with. Or maybe this next one, which is Checkmate, issue number 1. This is a 6-issue limited series from DC. Here's the description. The dark forces of Leviathan have torn through the DC universe, and now no one can be trusted. No one, not even the person writing to you about this book. That's why you find out in Justice League 63 that Green Arrow has been secretly funding a group called Checkmate, because not even the Justice League itself can be trusted. The mysterious Mr. King has helped Green Arrow assemble the greatest team of super spies the world has ever seen. Lois Lane, The Question, Robin, Steve Trevor, Manhunter, Bones, and Talia al Ghul will have to outsmart the smartest people in the world before they destroy everything. Plus, a new mystery character is tiptoeing through the shadows. They call him the Damon Rose, and he is hunting Lois Lane right under Superman's nose. It's an all-new, spine-chilling thriller from the Eisner Award-winning team of Brian Michael Bendis and Alex Maleev. All right, so this is, once again, another new book that you might consider checking out this week. The indies probably have more potential of like becoming a television show or a movie or something like that. This one probably not as much, but who knows? Who knows? When you have, things like HBO Max, they need content, and maybe Checkmate would make a nice little group of characters that they can make a show out of. So who knows as far as that type of spec is concerned. But this actually sounds kind of interesting to me. I like that it's a group of characters that it's hard to kind of imagine them working together. What is this? It's kind of a potpourri, a very mixed bag of characters. So what is it going to be like when these super spies all work together? In addition, there's a new character in there called Damon Rose. So there's things worth checking out in there. Frankly, I don't think I'm going to be picking up Vinyl. I also don't think I'm going to be picking up Good Luck. I do, however, think I will be picking up Checkmate and checking it out. At least issue number 1, and if I like issue number 1, I'm like, wow, this is really pretty impressive, then I'll pick up the rest of the issues as well. And it's Brian Michael Bendis. Brian Michael Bendis knows how to write a comic book. So might be worth something for you to check out as well. The next book I want to mention to you is, wow, there's a lot of limited series this week, is Infinite Frontier, issue number 1 of a 6-issue limited series. This is also from DC Comics. Here's the description. When our heroes saved the multiverse from Perpetua in Dark Knight's death metal, everything was put back where it belonged. And we do mean everything. All the damage from all the crises was undone. And heroes, long thought gone, returned from whatever exile they had been in. Most of them, at least. Alan Scott, the Green Lantern from the Justice Society of America, has noticed some of his allies are still missing in action, and he's determined to find them. There are others, though, who would rather remain hidden and explain themselves. Like Roy Harper, aka Arsenal, a man who should be dead, but now is not. Plus, what does all this mean for the DCU's place in the multiverse? On opposite sides of a dimensional divide, both Barry Allen and President Superman ponder this question, not to mention the dark side of it all. Or a team of multiversal heroes called Justice Incarnate. All right, this was not a well-written description. It's really, I guess it's telling me that Alan Scott is going to be looking for some heroes that he expected to return after the battle with Perpetua that haven't returned yet, some of which are just missing and some of which are electing not to be found. This is a book that I think is for the super hardcore DC fan. Like if you've been reading DC for years and years and years, and you're like a DC historian, and you're really into every character that ever graced a page in a DC comic book, this might be for you. For me, it's interesting, but not really very interesting to me. I'm not as interested in these characters as I would be. Like, for example, I've been reading Heroes Reborn, which is kind of fringy and alternate reality type of thing going on. I've been really enjoying that. For some reason, this one doesn't interest me that much, so I'm going to take a pass on this. But it's interesting enough in a week that's not so interesting that I'm going to go ahead and point it out to you. All right, those are my 5 honorable mentions. Now we are going to take a look at the book this week. That would be my pick this week if I could buy just one book. And that book would be Something is Killing the Children, issue number 17. I know. Let me read the description. What turned young Erica into the monster hunter she is today? Discover Erica Slaughter's true origin as she is further initiated into the House of Slaughter. But will she be sorted into the prestigious White Room or the dreaded Black Room with her new nemesis, Aaron? Okay, so you all know what a big fan of James Tynion IV I am. You all know what a big fan of Something is Killing the Children I am. Trust me, in weeks where Something is Killing the Children is the book, it's going to be hard for me not to choose this book as my just one pick of the week. But in a week where all the other books coming out this week are actually pretty disinteresting to me, in order to be honest with all of you and to show kind of like, I want to show a level of integrity with my picks. And in order to do that, I have to be honest with you. And honestly, of the books that are coming out this week, Something is Killing the Children, issue number 17, is clearly the just one book pick for me. Not only is Something is Killing the Children a fantastic book, fantastically written by James Tynion IV and fantastically drawn by Werther Del Adara. This week's book actually has the potential to have some of these what's the word I'm looking for? Spec elements that I thought maybe issue 16 was going to have. There were basically only about 3, maybe 4 characters in all of issue number 16. Now that we are going to be with Erica inside the actual physical building of the House of Slaughter, she is going to be introduced, I imagine, to a lot more characters. So it's very possible we are going to get a lot of the first appearances that I expected to see in issue number 16 in issue number 17 this week. So there's some spec potential as well. Also, this B cover is glow-in-the-dark. So glow-in-the-dark covers are something that I'm really warming up to. I think they're kind of fun and interesting. I don't know if this is the most appropriate one for a glow-in-the-dark cover. It'll be interesting to see what the glow-in-the-dark elements are and how it plays as a glow-in-the-dark cover. But it's fun. I'm into fun, and I'm into glow-in-the-dark covers, so I'm interested in that. That's all I have to say about this book. For those reasons, you know, the because it's so good, because of the potential spec value to it, and because of the glow-in-dark cover, and because it's a very light week for excitement in new comic books, those are all the reasons why Something is Killing the Children, issue number 17, is my just one book pick for this week. All right, I know you're probably like, ugh, that was not really very exciting. I kind of sort of warned you at the beginning that was going to be the case. But I appreciate you sitting through the video anyways. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some good information out of it. If you did, please, I invite you to hit the like button. And if you haven't already subscribed, subscribing would be great as well. As always, thank you all so much for watching this video. I will see you in the next one.